So here's what you end up with when you destroy the social network that makes up a society. You end up with this. They've purchased a bunch of robot companions to actually make our aging generation feel like they have friends and family.
Everyone, just go hug your grandma, okay? Just right after you listen.
After this is done, call your grandma. You see how this is the layers of it that are almost never talked about. You might see a little article like this that's like, isn't this fun? They're buying robot companions for the elderly. But if we still had communities where the elderly were still part of them, and we weren't fucking separated from our society and separated from each other, then you wouldn't need fucking robots being like, you look very nice today, Grandma. Grandma, you are lovely. You made delicious dessert today for me. And they've purchased 800 robots. Well, I'm sure that should do it. 800 robots to act as all of New York State has 800 robots. Could you imagine? Like, you would, even if these things did something, you would need one in like every room. You don't just.
Well, and also, can I just pause for a second? I mean, I'm not trying to bash, on the older folks here, but like, there are elders that I know, I won't name names or anything, that can barely work an iPhone, and we're giving them robots and being like, here, you fucking figured out this is your new friend.
I'm sure the robot tells them how to use it.
But it's like,
push my button, please.
Like, it's so fucking out of touch in terms of that like generation, I think. And I'm not saying that all elder people aren't into tech. There are some elder people that definitely are. I'm not generalizing in that sense, but it's like, it's so out of touch in terms of that, but then so out of touch with just like humanity. Like, there's a reason that there have been several dystopian books and movies and concepts about people who only have like the robot in their lives and that's their only friend. And it's fucking depressing as fuck. That's not a human contact. Like, we are animals. We need other animal contact. And the idea that it would be enough to just be sitting there with a Roomba, I mean, it's just like completely fucking out of touch and dumb.
Each of the things that normally would step in place of having to get a fucking robot, a fucking R2-D2 to keep grandma happy, each of those things, it undermines the core belief of capitalism, which is we are an isolated figure trying to get money, and that is all that matters, and you don't need anything else outside of that. And so every moment where people have worked together, chosen to work together as groups, is generally beaten down and stopped. Not necessarily made illegal, although sometimes it is made illegal as well, but it's slowly beaten down. I mean, the communes that existed around the country, and there's been many attempts to have group settings where people work together, but basically the outside capitalism and the capitalist beliefs that are kind of internalized with us as we grow up in the system eat away at it and destroy it. And eventually it collapses. And this doesn't mean that I'm not trying to say a commune is all of the answers, but capitalism has created a system that undercuts all of that and makes it so that at the end of the day, we're all atomized. You know, you got 2 or 3 of us together in a box and we go to work, but you're not really encouraged to like fucking hang out with people. Work time is they're on the clock. You got to be working. This is not time for fraternizing. Not going to be any fraternizing in here.
And another thing that I think is like a key point here, somebody had brought up that robots can be good in these settings because they monitor vitals. Yeah, but anybody who's ever been in a hospital, like for instance, when I was last in the hospital, I wasn't like making friends with my IV. You know, I wasn't sitting there and being like, you know what, it's really great to have someone to talk to. And you know what I mean? I feel like we're so close because you're literally inside my veins. So I feel like we should start up a conversation, you know, like That's not a friend.
And then it responded, "Oh, you want me inside of you?"
I mean, they already were, so that's why I felt a little awkward. Like we should get to know each other first.
No. But in terms of monitoring the vitals, if this article said
right,
New York
that's
State
not what
buys
they're talking about.
right buys robots to monitor vitals, I wouldn't be complaining.
Right. That's
different.
fine. And I think there's another key here that speaks to how our culture throws away the elderly, right? There are other cultures in the world where elders are, I don't want to say respected. And that's not to say that older folks can't get shit wrong. Like there was a good friend of mine that was talking about, she's from Thailand, and she was saying that they have a lot of respect for their elders there, but that she was having some back and forth because her grandparents weren't being respectful of her being queer and things like this. And so it's like, that doesn't mean respecting elders doesn't mean that you just take all of their shit if they're wrong about something. But it also means you don't fucking throw them away. You don't put them in some flea-infested elder care place. I'm not saying that every place is, but most people don't have the money, which is another point, to put their grandparents or their parents into, the fucking Ritz-Carlton equivalent of an elder care facility.
In my family, we used a kennel. Is that okay?
How much? I mean, did she have enough space to turn around?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. There was like a little pretend doggy couch for her.
So we don't respect our elders, and we don't. And that sounds trite. That phrase has been fucking destroyed, but it's true. There should be some respect for the elders in terms of the things that they've learned, the wisdom that they've picked up through the years, and also, and this is key, elders in the movement who have seen some shit, who know like, hey, this tactic never worked. Hey, this kind of infighting is toxic, etc., etc. That gets lost because our culture is built on tossing away elders. So we end up repeating shit, both in terms of just a larger cultural history, but also in terms of movements. And then at the same time, we completely disrespect and throw away in a different sense kids, youth. Those kids out protesting, what the fuck do they know? Like, actually, they know a lot. And if we spend more time learning from kids, as opposed to just assuming that they know dick because they're younger than you, then we'd be in a much better place. So it's like, we've got, what is the amount of time that you're respected? Because like, it's not, you're in your 20s, then you're too young. But in your 40s, it's like, block. Fuck it. Nobody gives a shit.
You get a little block of respect. And I know he's got some bad shit about him, but Louis C.K. had a good bit about this where he was like, he's like, I'm 40 or 41 or something. That's what he said. And he's like, if you're 20 and you do some shit, people are like, wow, he's only 20. Look at him. Good for that. Good for him. If you're 60 or 80, then people are like, wow, look, that's incredible. He's still going at 80. He's like, but you're 40. People are like, yeah, just do your fucking job, asshole. No one's impressed with anything you did. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Your shit. That's what you're supposed to do.
That this is another issue with the culture, right? It's like there's this small window of respect, but then it's only certain people that get respect, and that's millionaires and fucking billionaires and assholes, and so it's like the age.
Right, you never see the cover of a Time magazine with just like, look at this grandma who's got some great advice.
Right, it's like the fucking.
Instead, it's Bezos.
The age and then the status of the people that we're supposed to respect in our culture. It's no wonder that we're so fucked up. It's like the whole paradigm tosses people away for a myriad of reasons, and age is just one of them. And this article, I think, highlights that fucking perfectly. And
one more note from this article. The article said this from the Smithsonian Magazine. Loneliness can cause a myriad of negative health effects, including depression, poor sleep quality, impaired executive function, accelerated cognitive decline, poor cardiovascular function, and impaired immunity at every stage of life. Okay, so they're appropriately saying loneliness has a great impact, but here's the thing. Where in this article do they say, maybe we should bring back community? Maybe that's a thing. Maybe we should bring back a life where you don't slave to the bone and you can't take care of your goddamn elders. Maybe we should bring back those things. Maybe we should bring back working together. None of this article says that. It just says, get them a fucking talking toaster and all is right. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, it's really remarkable. It's kind of like talking about, oh, we've got some really fucked up weather. Why aren't we connecting that to climate chaos? It's like, if you don't talk about the root causes of this, that capitalism supports and pushes for isolation. It is an isolating system. And particularly, with the pandemic, which isolated people even further, those who were already lonely and isolated. This is a fucking scourge, and it pushes people into unhealthy and ultimately even perhaps fatal situations. And the system is just like, well, that's just life, and it's like, no, that's just fucking capitalism.
Right. And if our so-called leaders, I don't know what we should call them, fucking shills in government, actually needed to do a lockdown to save lives, and they needed to do it right, then guess what? They cover everybody's fucking life costs, and they make sure everyone ends up in a good situation, rather than just, oh yeah, 1 out of every 3 businesses that's not a corporate chain went out of business and destroyed lives. Oh yeah, people are fucking killing themselves and drinking their misery away because they're locked in a room for 2 years. It's just the fucking saddest, most pathetic. And of course, they're exploiting it the whole way. Wall Street's getting rich. Anyway, that's a side topic. I wanted to just highlight Jeffrey Long's post here. He said, give elders more weed. Yes, all of the drugs. All Seriously. Of the drugs should be given to elder. Dude, fucking, if you're in your last years, have fun.
Seriously.
What the fuck are we worried about? Oh, well, they might get addicted. Oh, is that a real problem? Is that, you're like, dude, that guy is 97 and he smokes weed. I don't want to rat him out twice a day. Okay. It's really fucked up. What, does he need to be productive? Does he need to get his shit done? Does he need to sit there and play Connect 4 for 12 hours more effectively, and the weed fogs his brain? Fuck you. Have fun.